Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. I'm joined with me by a first time guest. I'm really so happy to have him here. One of the newest guys to the MMA content sphere, who makes all these cool videos. Particularly, I discovered him when I came across his Muhammad Mokayev Should Come to Rising video. Aniki MMA, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining.
Yep. Thank you for having me, Andrew. And yes, funny you mentioned the Mohammed Makayev video because I actually privated that video because I was so ashamed of how bad it was. It
I
was
thought you were saying you private it because it looks like he's definitely not coming to Ryzen anymore.
well, you see, I wanted Mohammed Makayev to come to Ryzen mainly because I wanted to see him get knocked out by Kyoji Horiguchi. But now that Kyoji's with the UFC, it's just like, what's the point, right? I don't want Muhammad Makayev to be, running around Ryzen, destroying you like Kimuya and, it would be kind of tragic if I were to see Ogi Kubo get subbed by Makayev, for example. So, yeah, I don't want him to come as much anymore, really, because who's gonna soccer ball kick his head into the bleachers?
Oh yeah. But also I gotta recommend some other videos. I love your why men should do MMA video, which I was hoping would get a lot of views, but hasn't. It's been kind of like steady with this kind of views. I kind of figured you'd be able to get like that crowd,
Yeah, that crowd. Yeah, it was a bit of a gamble when it comes to videos because it's a topic that will get fewer views from like the MMA audience, but it had the potential to get more views with like a wider Gen Z audience. But it's probably gonna get like 10K and then die off completely.
But people want to find you. Let's see. I added your thing here. If I could find it, Aniki MMA. That's correct, right? You don't plan on changing it anytime, right? Oh, there it is. Okay.
No, I don't.
Great. I really highly recommend everybody check him out. Who hasn't? Please subscribe. It's one of the most in the MMA content sphere. There's a lot of trash, like garbage, and it's one of the few that's like, okay, I can watch every video, even though I may not be interested in the subject, but the way it's created is actually interesting. So yeah, because like I'll tell you the truth, I don't give a crap about Sean O'Malley, but I watched the Sean O'Malley thing and like it's just an overall entertaining video, and as well the PFL why Ryzen is better than I guess the promotion you should be paying attention to. I guess I'll call that video that you did as well.
Yeah, I mean, with the PFL, right? Like, I'm going to be brutally honest. It's just that it's trying to become UFC light, and it's good that they're reducing ticket prices to $25 and that they're launching their app. That they've launched an app that allows you to watch all the regional level events in the US. But still, it's just I don't know how they're going to get people to tune in besides Francis versus Paul. Francis versus Jake Paul. That's the only fight I can think of that people would be genuinely interested in watching.
But before we get into Rizin Landmark, SAPPORO 11, whatever you want to call it, just want to ask how you got into MMA, JMMA, and by extension, Rizin.
Yeah, so I actually got into MMA not through Rizin but through the UFC, even though I live in Japan and speak Japanese. So I watched, I got into MMA around COVID, during the COVID lockdowns and stuff like that. And the reason why I started getting into MMA was because I used to work out a lot and go to the gym a lot. And, I got a decent physique. But then I was getting to the point where, you know, the gains were diminishing and I was kind of getting bored with lifting. So I decided, oh, well, maybe I should, you know, look into this MMA thing. Why? And, you know, start training in it a little bit. And then I realized, wow, this sport is actually entertaining and pretty awesome to watch. So that's why I started watching it. And now here I am, you know, making videos about it, making content about it.
Well, I mean, you know, what was it? What was the impetus to start making videos? Because it's one thing to train it, to go into it, but when was like, you know what? I just want to I want to start making videos. What was the impetus for that?
Actually, there was, I guess I always wanted to, you know, make videos, make content about some sort of subject, some sort of topic, but I never knew what exactly that topic was going to be. But then I realized, oh, well, with MMA, right? Like, there's so much to talk about the sport outside of, you know, just the typical breakdowns of fights and, you know, giving picks for bettors and all of that. You know, what I like to call, honestly, slop content. You know, people who do full fight card predictions, people who do, you know, news commentary.
Oh.
People who just
my God,
repeat.
Is this a backhanded compliment? It's a backhanded compliment to me. I'm kidding.
Well, yeah,
I'm kidding.
but I mean, like, you know, but I mean, like, you know, but it's almost like UFC content as well. So nobody actually properly covers Rizin or JMMA. So, you know, just by doing that, I think that's a great service to MMA as a whole, because I think that part of our duty as content creators is to try and break the UFC monopoly. Because, you know, breaking the UFC monopoly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you know, helping to fight the UFC monopoly, helping to break that is what's ultimately going to help fighters. Because it's going to give them, you know, another place to come to.
Yeah.
And another place to compete in. Which will, of course, you know, help them fight for better pay. So I think that's, you know, kind of my duty as a content creator.
Gotcha. Well, I like that philosophy. You know, yeah, I'm tired of, you know, it is like, I would probably say it's 90% slop, and then God only knows, I don't know what the AI stuff is, which I don't even pay attention to, like just those generated top 10 whatever, with always like Connor on the cover on like the thumbnail, and Francis Ngannou looks like they're fighting. But you know, yeah, it's good to have, like, especially it's hard to break out and to like think of stuff that's original and that's entertaining and substantive. You know, usually you can get one or two. Very hard to get three, but you managed to somehow get three with your stuff. I look forward to whatever you're creating in the future, man. Keep at it.
Yeah.
Keep at it.
Yeah. Right now I'm working on a video about, you know, Pride, because it's Pride Month.
Yes.
But, Pride, I'm doing like Pride rules, things like that. But honestly, it's a bit of a Rizin ad in disguise, because, you know, I wanted to, you know, promote the Landmark card, so I've included that in the script, and that should be releasing, you know, probably in the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'll be able to get it out before this card.
Beautiful. Well, we're definitely looking forward to it, and we'll definitely I'll definitely post about it on the Twitters and all that. But yeah, we're gonna be talking Rizin Landmark 11 in Sapporo. Say that all in one breath. Second time in Sapporo at the same arena, the Ice Team Arena, I believe it's called, right, Aniki?
Yeah, the Sixheim Ice Arena. Yes.
Okay.
The Ice Arena. Yeah.
They didn't call it the Ice Arena the last time they went. They called it by just the whatever arena.
Yeah.
Did the arena add ice to their name? Like in between them?
I'm gonna look that up right now.
Okay, I was very curious because I was like, I didn't know it was an ice arena, or I guess a hockey arena would be when they say ice. But yeah, Rizin Landmark 11 in Sapporo, second show in Sapporo. After it's been about, I think it's been 2 years since they've been in Sapporo. And it's a big card. It's a big card. I'll definitely say that. When you have a moment, Aniki, I just want to get your on-paper thoughts on this 19-fight card.
Well, actually, first, I just looked it up. Last time that they went to Hokkaido for Rizin 43, they called the arena the same thing. They still called it like the Sixihama Ice Arena.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. No, last time they went, they had, Chihiro versus Kleber and the whole debacle of Kleber missing weight. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time with any of the main fights on the card. But
also what WMAC now is hopefully no bears come near the arena like at that show where they had to send that warning. There's bears.
Yeah.
There's Kuma nearby. Abunai. Be careful. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But yes, with this card, I have to say, there's a lot of regional guys. Not region. I mean, like guys from the region. Guys fighting out of Hokkaido, like Suguru. You've also got Kaibutsu-kun, right?
I didn't know he was Hokkaido. I didn't know that Suzuki was Hokkaido as well.
I'm pretty sure he's Hokkaido. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got Kaibutsu-kun. Yeah. And a lot of regional guys. However, I have to say, there are so many kickboxing fights, especially towards there's a lot of kickboxing fights, and honestly, I'm just thinking like if you're gonna put this, I'm just thinking, President Sakakibara, if you're gonna put this many kickboxing fights on the Rizin cards, just like take Takeru and just take Takeru and Noiri and Yukioza and just buy out their contracts from one. Just bring them back. If you're gonna put this many kickboxing fights on the Rizin cards, just bring them back and turn Rizin into MMA and kickboxing organization, because I mean, at this point it's kind of becoming that.
I know. It's literally. I hate that. I know. I don't want to insult these fighters, but like they're literally digging at the bottom of the barrel to find which guys from this region we can put on this card. They got two brothers on this card as well, by the way. So that's like and it's a little bit too much kickboxing. I think 19 is way too many fights overall. I do know a bunch of these guys come from Hokkaido, some from Amori as well. I don't know. When I see 19 fights on a card, I assume this is like a big bombastic show, and this is clearly not the type of show that's going for that. I did ask one of my friends who does live in Sapporo if he was looking forward to the card. He said that he probably won't be able to make it onto the Ando fights, which is the only fight that he's actually looking forward to anyway. But he said that he's worried that he's gonna if he was there from the beginning, he'd be bored, he'd start to fall asleep until after like maybe 4 or 5 fights.
Yeah, one of my subscribers, he lives in Hokkaido. He works out there, and he told me that he's going to be going in person to Rizin Landmark 11, and he told me that it's probably going to be so long that he's probably going to skip the first 4 fights, the opening fights, because, I mean, it takes up an entire day, basically, this card. Mm-hmm. You're going from like when did it start? The gates open at like 12:30, I think. Let me check. Was it 14? I need to. I'm sorry. I should have known this.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, it opened. So gates open at 12. So gate opens at noon. Then it says start at 2 p.m. But I'm pretty sure that doesn't include the opening fights. So I think the opening fights
Yeah, they don't ever like count. They never say like when the opening fights start. I think they, yeah, I the timing is weird. I think that's yeah.
So I'm pretty sure like the opening fights start at like 12:30, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Oh wait. Oh.
Mhm.
But besides the opening fights, one thing that a lot of Japanese fans are calling Rizin out for is how they brought Mikuru, Ren, Shinotsuka, Hagiwara, and Suzuki all to Hokkaido, and people are just saying, "Oh, you're doing that just to sell tickets because you're not able to sell tickets with this card." Which I think they're still selling tickets, but
I heard. Well, I asked my friend, and he said that tickets were still available. Good seats were still available. So I don't mean, listen, the ticket buying is different here than America, and I get that. It's tickets. You can't buy tickets the day of. I know that a lot of people tend to wait the day of. Also, if Rizin does like I don't know what the prices were pretty expensive, I think, as well, relative for the type of card it was. So, if Rizin decides to half it or do the discount like they did for Otoko Matsuri, I could definitely see a lot more people buying tickets. I do think also that the 19 when people see 19 fights, that's a turnoff. I do think that's legitimately a turnoff for people because they see 19 and it's like, really 19 fights? And also, I think and I said this yesterday on Focus Fights in the comments section that you had Mikuru on a show last month. That's the guy that obviously Rizin fans want to see. You have him on Super Rizin in July. It's you. Why, if you want to see somebody, you want to see like obviously Mikuru fight. You're gonna save your money for Sapporo, Hokkaido, for the airfare and all that stuff. Because a lot of people, if you don't know, Hokkaido is a separate island from Japan. It's all the way up north, so you can only travel from airplane by air or boat, I guess, to the Tokyo Kanto area. So if you want to see Mikuru, why would you want to waste your money on this show where, let's be honest, not the most name heavy card that you could put on, and you just rather save up the airfare to go see Mikuru at Saitama next month. That's just a theory I have.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Oh, Chris Cushman has a question. Maybe you can answer this, Aniki. How much do those tickets usually cost?
Ooh, yes. All right. So, I'm just gonna immediately. Okay, so typically, the cheapest tickets I think cost like. Wait a second. Okay, first I can answer how much I paid for my own ticket to Otoko Matsuri, because I still have the receipt for that. So for Rizin Otoko Matsuri, for the RSC ticket, which was a ticket on the arena floor, I paid 33,000 yen. So that's 33,000 yen in US dollars.
I have $228.
Yeah, okay. So $228 for that ticket. Let me look up the Rizin Landmark tickets. I can look that up here.
Oh, good. While you're doing that, I just figure we always do a poster review because I still think, no matter how I feel about Rizin card, I always feel that Rizin still puts out the best posters out there, especially when you see what other organizations put out. So just want to see if you give it a thumbs up, Aniki. I don't know if you pay attention to posters at all, but your thought.
I think this poster is fine. It's it has the what I always like about Rizin is that the Rizin doesn't compromise on the color scheme. It's always going to be kind of like a kind of green, which I think is good because that's like the brand color of Rizin. However, the one thing I'll say is I feel like there's a little bit of clutter with all the fighters.
I was about to say this. It's kind of like a deep thing where they try to get everybody on the thing and just have it I know it's a Landmark show, so obviously it's not going to have like a theme like the Sakura show did like a few years ago, where they had the Sakura theme, or the graduation, high school like kind of book photo thing. So I get it why this is kind of like may not be the best, but it's still certainly like not the worst that it could be. Especially what the one thing that turns me off is just the way that Vugar is like giving me like the death stare. I wish they could have just gotten like a better, just him punching the screen or something, or the thing. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Let's go ahead, Aniki.
Actually, I think you're right on about trying to put every single fighter on this poster, and part of the reason why this poster feels a little bit cluttered is because we've got 19 fights of the card, and I'm pretty sure they've tried to put all the fighters, all 38 fighters on this card. So no wonder it feels a little bit cluttered here.
Mm-hmm. I like though that like Suguru Ni has like such prominence. He's like on top, even though he's not even. I think his fight's like 4th or 5th down from like the main card.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And he's fighting. He's honestly fighting an opponent he's mismatched against. So.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Falling Star is asking this, but I guess the pay-per-view prices. What are pay-per-view prices for Rizin in Japan? If that's what.
Oh yes. So it's typically okay. It's typically like 6,000, somewhere around there yen. But it varies based upon what kind of pay-per-view it is. So, for example, I think like the Super Rizin 3 prices were more expensive than like the Kagawa pay-per-view.
Don't they also do the thing where if you pre-order it by a certain date, you get like 20% off? I thought they did that for maybe
it costs more if you buy it on the day of.
Okay, that's it.
So, for example, with Super Rizin 3, if you bought it the day before, it was 6,500 yen for the pay-per-view. Yeah. But then if you bought it the day of, so so you bought it the day of, it was 6,900 yen. So I don't know what that is in dollars right now, but 6,500.
That is expensive. That is expensive.
Well, it's expensive, but
gotcha.
It's expensive, but I think that people are willing to pay for it.
Oh yeah,
and it's not it's not what the UFC is charging, because nobody's paying for that.
Yes,
nobody's paying for that.
But then again, you guys have it all on the Unex thing, so you don't have to put up with what we sometimes have to pay for UFC shows. Did you were able to find out the thing about the ticket prices, by the way?
Yeah. So the cheapest tickets to Rizin Landmark 11, the cheapest ticket is 11,000 yen.
Okay, so that's about 90. No.
Yes. Then the S seat tickets, 16,500 yen. Okay.
$70. Okay, my bad. $70.
Yeah. Okay. So SC tickets are 16,500 yen.
Gotcha.
And then the SRS seat tickets, 27,500 yen.
Gotcha.
And then the VIP seats, I know this probably doesn't apply or matter for most people, but that's 110,000 yen.
Okay. Well, you get a special gift, I saw. Do you know what that gift is?
The gift, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't apply to me, so.
Okay, gotcha. I was curious when I saw that. I was like, wonder what that gift is. Is it like a poster, or maybe like something WWE does here? Like if you get like the floor seats, you get like a chair. You get to keep your chair. So I wonder, like, maybe you get to keep the chair from the ice arena. Okay, so I don't know. Is that relatively? I'm guessing you paid more. You paid more for your Otaku Matsuri ticket, which but I don't know. Would you say that's relatively expensive or average for a Sapporo Landmark show?
Well, there's two things to consider. So first, there's the the value of the card itself, right? Like the biggest name on this card, it has to be Vugar, right?
Yes.
Would you say it's a Vugar? Would you say it's a Vugar?
Well, sorry.
Name?
I mean, you mean like internet? See, that's what's hard because it's like name wise, and I guess I would almost say talent, like record wise, talent wise, and just being a former champion. Yes, but is he really bringing in an audience? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say that more. I would think that maybe Sora or Suguru are probably, and I guess unfortunately I have to say Toshizo are probably the ones who are bringing the house. I would guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I mean, yeah, I guess Vugar is like the name that kind of sticks out to me the most because he's a former champion.
Yeah.
But what I would have to say is that with this card, it's not particularly stacked. So that's one reason why the tickets would have to be a little bit cheaper than the Tokomatsuri tickets.
Gotcha.
But the other reason is because it's in Hokkaido, and the cost of living as well as salaries are lower in Hokkaido than they are in the Tokyo area. So that's another reason why it's going to be cheaper. And also, the pay-per-view price for this card in Japan is 5,000 yen.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, so it's a little bit more reasonable than Super Rizin 3.
Gotcha. Before we get to the card, we have a question from a regular listener, and you can answer this, Aniki. Falling Star wants to ask: did Bara achieve Dana White level of fame as a businessman in Japan?
Ooh, I wouldn't say so. First of all, with
while
Dana White,
I'll be right back. I'm going to top up of a drink so you can explain all that while I take be back.
Yeah, I don't know if Dana White. I don't know how famous Dana White is in the States because I haven't been to the States for a while. But I can say that Dana White. Yeah, Dana White is definitely more famous in America than Bara is in Japan because, I mean, Bara isn't hanging out with, Prime Minister Ishiba, so, Dana White's, he's best friends with the sitting president, so, he's definitely more famous.
Well, I have a question. So if you went up to like 10 people in Tokyo or whatever, I don't know, you talk to 10 coworkers, would they know who Bara is without like paying attention to MMA?
I don't think so. No, they wouldn't.
Okay, because like if you ask people here if you know who Vince McMahon is, they know who Vince McMahon is without watching wrestling. I would guess the same amount, or maybe one or two less, or maybe not. Would maybe know Dana White. But yeah, okay. So would you say that Mikuru's name usurps Bara's in terms of like
Mikuru's name completely usurps Bara's.
Okay.
Everybody knows who Mikuru is.
Gotcha. I can definitely confirm that. As well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh no, go ahead. Do you want to get into the card breakdown?
Yes. I'm gonna try to find. First, because there's like 1,000 prelims. We're gonna get right into them. So I can't find. Where's my banner for the prelims? I don't know where I put it, but I'll just put it in right now. We're gonna briefly talk about the preliminary fights. And they are 3 MMA, 1 kickboxing. I would say that 2 of the other kickboxing fights should be on the prelims or should be counted as prelims, but whatever. We got Yuki Narita taking on Takeshi Noto, Kohei Nishijima taking on Shuto Hayashi, Daiki Kobayashi taking on Yukiti Morinaga, and Arashi Suzuki taking on Suguru Hayasaka. So I'll defer to you. Is there anything you want to say about these 4 opening prelims, Anakin?
Well, there's not much for me to say. So going back to Yuki Narita, right? Could you scroll back down a little bit for
Yes.
that card? Like for example, this fight is honestly, I think it's a bit of a mismatch. Like Takashi
This
Noto.
this could be on the main card if you wanted to like get my honest opinion, because Mr. Narita has actually a win over Yamato Nishikawa at a different weight class though, but nonetheless still a win.
I mean, like Takashi Noto, he's 41 years old. He's got a record of 7-9-0, but you know he's a hometown guy, fighting out of Hokkaido, and so yeah, I just don't see this fight being much of anything besides a bit of a stomp by Mr. Narita. Yeah.
Was there any?
Sorry,
go ahead.
So yeah, and also Mr. Narita, you know, he's on a 7-fight win streak, right?
I saw that. I was like, my God. Yeah. I mean, it is the best competition, but still, it's still a winning streak. I do like that one of his special skills is rapping. Apparently, I don't know if that's translated properly. Let me see if I could get it back. Is that actually say like rapping, Aniki? If you can see that.
Oh yeah, he's a tokugi rap, but yeah, that it is rapping, yeah.
Like, we're talking like actual like rapping, singing?
Yeah, that like rapping, yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'm already a fan of the guy. I'm already a fan of Mr. Narita. Oh yeah, it's pretty much a mismatch. It's pretty much a mismatch between the two. Narita should win this hands down easily, I think.
Yes.
I don't know. I have nothing else to say about it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on up. Next to the. Okay, Nishijima Kyohei. All right. I've got something to say about this, although it doesn't actually relate to the fight itself. So Nishijima Kyohei, he's a breaking down fighter, right?
I saw that and I was like, oh, yeah. I know why. Now I know why you're on the card, homie.
Yeah. So yeah, Nishijima Kyohei. So there's so much for me to talk about regarding this fight because you know, as a breaking down fighter, he's just gonna go in and swing because that's what all breaking down fighters do. And as you can see right there, Nishijima Kyohei tokugi subete tokui, which translates to
I like how they also
special skills.
Good at everything or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm also good at everything.
That's I like how they give like a separate, like he has his, I guess, pro record and his breaking down record. Like they have to separate that because it's just such a disparity in just how unique he is.
All right, what I'm gonna do is, with Mr. Nishijima Kyohei, I'm gonna send you a link to a YouTube video that Mikuru Asakura posted to his. Okay, please wait. I'm gonna send you the link to a YouTube video that Mikuru Asakura posted for some reason, for some godforsaken reason, to his YouTube channel.
So actually, Chris Cushman has actually brought up a statement. I want to ask you if you happen to know. He says Asakura bros pull him string. So is this Asakura? Do the Asakuras recommend? If you happen to know, is there like any sort of like, I don't know, does Asakura does he recommend these guys, or does Rizin kind of like go after these breaking down guys on their own?
Rizin kind of goes after them on their own, but sometimes they break sometimes they break the rule. Sometimes they break the rules and violate their contract, like Toshizo did.
Oh, we'll talk about him later. Yeah.
But in this case, okay, I sent the link to the video through Discord.
Oh, okay, that's why I didn't see it here. I was like, okay. Do you want me to watch it now, or?
Well, I mean,
is it one the breaking down?
No, this is Nishijima.
Okay, let me see. I hope they don't. Let me see.
Well, I mean, you don't have to play the video on stream. I just had to send it to you
good.
because
Go ahead.
It's a video of Mikuru having hyaluronic acid being injected into the tip of Nishijima's dick to make it bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the guy. Yeah, this
clinic.
is
okay.
Yeah. This is Krish Krishman. You're correct. Nishijima is the guy who had acid injected into his dick to make it bigger, and had the video posted on.
They definitely
Mikuru's channel.
Okay.
No. Yes, Ricky Stinkles. Yes, that's exactly what you heard me correctly.
Oh, sorry, Andy. You're breaking up occasionally.
Oh, sorry.
You're cutting in and out sometimes. Just to let you know. That's okay.
Oh gosh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
But yes, they're definitely doing that to him.
Yes.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, it's gross.
This is gross. Anyway, I see. Okay, so is this his notoriety? But besides breaking down, is this his so known? Is for the was also known for that?
Yes, this is what he was known for.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes,
gotcha. So, will Big Dick Nishijima come out with a win? Do you think? Is this his you know how like they say, oh, C level Kane or motivated BJ Penn, is Big Dick Nishijima a different fighter?
I have no clue. Certainly, it's going to render him more.
Oh, I just realized it's also kickboxing. By the way,
yeah, it's going to render him. It's going to render him more susceptible to groin shots, right?
I guess so.
Because here's the thing:
if the show was in the winter, if the show was in the winter, you could say, oh, it's a Sapporo winter. It'll be -20, so it'll be smaller, so I don't have to worry about that. But no, it's gonna be in the summer of Hokkaido. So yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, I'm like trying to find records on Shuto Hayashi. I don't see him having any sort of fight record.
Yeah, listen, this is he's from Grabs. This is what I have this. I have here that he has 4 fights, 2 wins, 2 KOs as of May 2013. So yeah, it's whatever. He also likes horse racing and sleeping early, apparently. So, yeah. So I don't know. Any thoughts on this fight? If not, it's totally cool.
Actually, Hayashi's on a 2-fight loss streak, so I think Nishijima takes this.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Okay. It's a gimme fight for Nishijima because he has breaking down privilege and big.
Yeah, he has breaking down privilege, certainly.
Okay. Moving on, Daiki Kobayashi, Yukita Morinaga. Anything on these 2 young guns? I'm assuming they're young.
I don't have much to say. Honestly, I didn't do my homework for this part of the card.
Okay, one guy, Morinaga's from Shizuoka, and I think, the Kobayashi is from the Hokkaido region. Yes, Hokkaido, and his special skill is a rich imagination. So that's what. Let's see if I can actually. Maybe you can actually tell us what he's actually saying in the translation. Because I don't trust Google Translate with this stuff. So my English translation is saying this is rich imagination.
Yes. Yes. It is. It is that he says that his imagination is quite rich. That
is an interesting special skill. Well, hopefully he has a rich imagination to come away with a win. Any thoughts on who might win? If you don't, it's totally fine.
Wait, could you please go to the record of the other guy?
Yes. I believe Yukito Morinaga. Okay, Mr. Morinaga.
All right.
And apparently also one of the special.
He's gonna win.
Oh yeah,
Yukito Morinaga's gonna win.
Oh yeah.
Just
So
10 wins, 4 losses, 1 no contest. Yes.
I don't know. This is a Zest guy. This is a Zest guy. The last time a Zest guy fought in Rizin did not go well for him. So hopefully he knows that there's different rule sets than in his home promotion.
But Tapology says 2 5-minute rounds. Yes, it is correct. This is special rules.
Oh yeah, which I still haven't. They still haven't been able to. I still don't know if they allow soccer kicks or the same rule set because it's like with Deep. Like I never know until they actually start fighting and if somebody gets a warning or disqualified. Do you happen to know if the rule sets are the same? Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I'm not sure. I don't think. I think the Rizin MMA special rules nowadays they're doing it. The only special part of the rule is that there's no third round, and they do a like Masto Hante where one of the judges have to score a winner for the fight.
Wish they could do the same for kickboxing.
Yeah,
I wish they could do the same because now we could potentially get like how many, like 3 or 4 draws because we got that many kickboxing. So
could you scroll down a little bit one more time because I want to. Yep. Actually, another thing that I wanted to bring your attention to is that Kobayashi and Morinaga.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yes, sir. Morinaga is 172 centimeters tall, while Kobayashi is listed as 161. There's going to be a huge size discrepancy in this fight. Like, Morinaga's a properly sized bantamweight. Kobayashi should be fighting at strawweight.
Gotcha.
Just like height-wise.
Okay, that is okay. That's like about 5 feet tall. 5'1", 5'2", I think.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
So yeah, Morinaga is gonna destroy him. Also, one other thing I'll say is Kobayashi's been fighting in Grachan. Grachan, honestly, it's one of the lower level promotions, right? It's like one step below Shudo Deep Pancrase.
Oh, but it's so fun. I love the shows are so easy to watch, and it's just like I love the dingy halls that they do.
Yeah. It's
I love the atmosphere of them.
Yeah, it's like good old fashioned like regional MMA.
And main event of the prelims we're going to count is that Arashi Suzuki take on Suguru Hayasaka. Suzuki is a JTT guy, and that's why I know he was booked on the show. And Hayasaka has been fighting for 100 years and has an absurd record as well. So, yeah, you want to give any quick thoughts on this fight?
JTT.
Hayasaka could even be his dad, I think. I think he's old enough to be Suzuki's dad.
Yeah, how old are they?
Okay, 1998. October 17th, 1998. So that's I can't do math. It's about 20.
I mean, he's
No. 1998. But yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Aniki.
All right, okay. Could you go to Hayasaka's page there from? Just
1984. By the way, also want to be a pro wrestler. So he saw a Kendo Kachin match in Pride. That's how old he is. That's how old he is. Holy crap.
Okay. You see, like, I think Hayasaka takes this because Suzuki, he has like a losing record. He has 2 wins, 3 losses, and just the absolute gap in experience between these two fighters is just going to show, I think. Because I think that especially in JMMA, older guys tend to do quite well against the younger fighters.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, yeah.
So.
Okay.
Hayasaka, I think it has to be Hayasaka here.
Gotcha. We're going to just talk about briefly the 2 kick matches that are going to be, 2 of the kick matches that will be on the Rizin main card portion. Ueno brothers kick extravaganza, I will call it. These two brothers, I'll get them up on the screen right now. Oops, sorry. Kanata Ueno taking on Kensei Yamakawa, and then Raiki. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, no. Kuto Ueno taking on. Go look at this name. Farphayap Grabs. I'm assuming from Grabs Gym. But yes, they're both K1 guys. They're both from Hokkaido. They had a fight together in K1, one of those exhibition ones, which I'm pretty sure wasn't as good as the Haraguchi. No, not Haraguchi. Who are the two brothers who fight in Rise? Panicky. Do you remember their names?
I don't follow kickboxing that closely.
Oh, never mind. Okay, great. So, neither do I. So I don't know. You want to say anything about Ueno brothers taking on their respective opponents? Because this is as regional as we can get. This is one step above regional, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, I don't have much to say because I don't really follow kickboxing, but you know, they're brothers. I think that I think they'll do fine, especially since I think they'll do fine. Yeah,
I will contend with that as well. So if you want to bet, God forbid you want to bet on this card, put one down for Ueno brothers. Now, this is a kickboxing thing that you wanted to say some stuff on, so we'll get right to it. Toshizo breaking down Vet, taking on Yuya Uzawa from another K1 guy, but he's not exactly that worthy of a K1 contract, in my opinion. But go ahead. This is all you, Aniki.
Yes. So, as you said, starting with Uzawa, right? He's not really like truly K1 level, right? As a kickboxer. Mm-hmm. But he's got some he's certainly not K1 level. He's on a KO loss streak, which is bad, especially at his age.
Oh yeah, that's not good at all.
Years old. Yeah, terrible. But I think that's part of the reason why this fight is not a mismatch. In fact, I think that Toshizo is going to beat him. But when it comes to Toshizo, right? Toshizo is he's a breaking down guy, but now he's a former breaking down guy. He's a former breaking down guy. And the reason why is because breaking down has eliminated his contract. They've cut his contract, and the reason why is because Toshizo has violated his contract with breaking down twice now, and just taken offers from Rizin without talking to Mikuru or to Mizuguchi.
Interesting. You would think so. When he had his first fight in Rizin, was he still breaking down?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Wouldn't his Rizin and Mikuru are very tight, and I'm surprised that they would almost. I don't know. Is it just one of those things where it's like it doesn't matter, or like is it this kind of like Rizin maybe almost? I don't know. I don't know if he's that big of a name that we're like Mikuru and breaking down would actually give a shit. I don't know. Is there?
I think he is. Yeah, he is. He is a bit of a. He is a bit of a name, especially in breaking down, and it's especially. What I would say is that with breaking down, right? Even though breaking down was very, very hot for a while, but it's starting to lose a bit of its flair. And things are kind of starting to slow down over there. So they want to keep some of these lower skill level stars that they have. Gotcha. But now Toshizo is fighting in Rizin, so really, what is there to say, right? Like.
So I want to ask. He spells his name in hiragana. I notice. Is there a reason why?
That's from breaking down, because a lot of the breaking down fighters, they tend to have weird nicknames, right? Like Juni Nikki, or what's another one? There's the rapper.
Who's the guy with all the face
Satoru.
tattoos? Who's the one that's all
That's
the face-
Satoru. That's Satoru.
Okay, gotcha.
I think that's Satoru. That's the rapper.
Okay, so does he have does Toshizo's name mean anything specific? Is that like his actual name, or is that his, I guess, fighter name? If you happen,
I'm pretty sure that's his fighter name, but actually that might be his real name. I can look that up right now.
Okay. So I mean, listen, I think Rizin is certainly booking this with a Toshizo win in mind. He's from Hokkaido.
Yes.
The guy that he's facing, I don't want to say sucks, but he may be, he's not, he's a K1 crush guy mainly. He's not on K1 proper, which usually tells you something. But I mean, yeah, this has got to be an easy win for Toshizo by what's it called? By brawling, I'm guessing, to a win, especially for a guy who has KO losses, like Uzawa does.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Any other thoughts? Oh wait, you're gonna look up his name. I'm sorry, I forgot you're gonna look up his name.
Yeah. I have not. I couldn't. I wasn't able to find his real name.
Oh, good.
But, Toshizo. I think he's probably gonna do. I think he's gonna knock him out.
Yeah, I think so too. We have a question from Bonnie Store that you could probably answer. He wants to know, he's curious about the impact of Naoya Inoue on combat sports in Japan. He imagines that Naoya Inoue brings in folks who couldn't give a shit about sports in general to watch his fights. Is this true or not? So I guess he's asking if Inoue brings in people that are not combat sports fans, boxing fans, to watch his fights.
Oh, certainly. Inoue brings in tons of people who couldn't care about combat sports.
Gotcha.
But what I'll say though is that Inoue isn't as big of a star as somebody like Shohei Ohtani, of course. Like people say stuff like, "Oh, now Shohei Ohtani and Naoya Inoue, they're like the big sports stars of Japan," and I have to say, not really. Otani's in a league of his own. But Inoue is definitely bringing in much more attention specifically to boxing. And that's part of the reason why we have like the best talent in Japanese combat sports moving to boxing. So we had that with Tenshin. We've had that with who else, really? Like a lot of the talented fighters have been moving to...
The guy who just fought this past week, I forgot his name. His name is skipping me. But yeah. I got you. So I guess we could get into like one of the first actual main MMA fight on this card, which again, it's still digging bottom the barrel as Raiki Endo, by the way, Hokkaido guy, taking on Zaji Badin. 1-0 from China. I tried to find his one fight, the one fight that he's ever had. I can't find it. I was disappointed I couldn't find it, but I mean, listen, have you ever seen Endo fights, Aniki?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, you're lucky. I'll just say this. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, please go ahead. I haven't watched this fight, so.
He's exactly how you think some guy who's from like the mountains of Hokkaido would look like. He's short and is all muscle. That is basically him, and he's not particularly good. You would think, you're looking at him like, oh, this guy can knock out people like one shot. Like, no, he doesn't, and he's a slow plodding fighter. But I have no idea how Mr. Bading is going to do, because again, could not find his one fight that he had. So I would have to guess that Endo just wins based on experience. Boy, I think 15-14 now. I think that's what Endo's record is. Mm-hmm. This is not going to be a good fight. I don't think. I do not think this will be a good fight at all. Go ahead.
I just have to hope that it ends in an early finish.
I hope so too. But here's the thing: Endo's a hard guy to finish, and he's also a guy that is really almost allergic to finishes as well. If you've seen his record, we're gonna move on to some actual MMA stuff now. This one I'm looking forward to: Magaram Gazanzadi returning to take on Tatsuya Ando, who wound up on road to UFC somehow, some way. And was in the wrong weight division as well, featherweights as well. And this is somebody who's I think it was I forgot who in the Discord was calling for him to be on Rizin at some point, but finally he gets to be there. But I know that Aniki, there's a term for people like Ando and Sasuke, who we'll be talking about later, that these guys that go to UFC, they're called UFC cast-offs or something.
The term that we use is UFC Nami, which means UFC refugees.
Is that specifically to people who have fought on road to UFC or just UFC in general?
I think it's guys who fought on road to UFC.
Would Horie be considered that?
I think Horie would be considered a UFC Nami.
Okay.
I think it would be.
Would Nishikawa Would Nishikawa be considered a UFC refugee? I don't know. Does that count? Yes. Does getting a contract and then being told, "Oh wait, you can't fight because you're actually signed somewhere else," and not actually fighting? Is that? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just being a jokester. But go ahead.
UFC, the UFC Namin, right? They're basically guys who, well, what they do is they kind of try to keep their records pretty clean by consistently fighting, like, not so high quality opponents. And they especially like to fight in a pseudo deep pancrase that will allow them to go to road to UFC, go to places like Dana White's Contender Series, and then even if they lose, they can come back and still have a contract with the promotion that they fought out of. And he is. Yeah.
At least here's the thing. He's like a legitimate fighter, though. We can at least he has wins over like Okada Rio, and I forgot who he beat in Shuto to get the championship. But he's actually he actually does have legitimate fighting skills. Now I don't know if those are fighting skills that he can beat Gazanzadi with, because Gazanzadi just trains out of Dagestan, trains with or trains at the Khabib camp in Dagestan. Only one loss, and Maul Dark in his first fight in Rizin. I don't know if Ando can put up with that pace that Gazanzadi I think will bring.
Yeah. And another thing I have to say is right. Ando's coming off of a over a year off, right? Since his fight on road to UFC.
Is that injury? Is that injury, or is that just him waiting for something? If you happen to know,
I don't know what it was, but I don't like it, and the reason why is because I feel like a lot of fighters who go on road to UFC and end up not making it, it kind of breaks their spirit. In many cases. Yeah.
I got you. Do you think there's any way that Ando can win this, or is it just unless Gazanzadi breaks his leg with an errant takedown, just it's gonna be all Gazanzadi?
I think Ando gets smashed.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Ando can always land that lucky punch, but that can be said of anybody, really.
I have to pick. I'm gonna have to pick Gazanzadi. I don't think he's gonna. That's another thing. Gazanzadi doesn't even have to finish him if he doesn't want to. He could just, he could ride those 3 rounds if he wants to. But I think it's all Gazanzadi. That entire fight win for him. I think it's bantamweight, right? I believe.
It's bantamweight.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Moving on. So apparently This was a rematch. I learned that from the English trailer from the Rizin video. I thought I misheard it, and I listened to it again. I was like, oh, rematch? And I looked it up. Yeah, these two fought each other like on one of the early Pancrase shows 100 years ago with Nakajima winning. Nakajima's an interesting fighter. You ever look at his record and see like, oh my God, he has wins over those people, but then he's lost to like these other people? Very, very interesting record. And Coro, obviously, everybody knows him as Mr. Seika Izawa.
Yeah.
And he has not been a riser for a long time, and probably for good reason. I was actually at the show, at the last deep show that he fought at, and in which he got mauled badly by the I think it was a Korean fighter, whose name I'm forgetting right now. Yeah. What do you think about this? Is this a rematch worthy of the Rizin cage?
I mean, it's on the undercard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I have to take Nakajima here, but it might be worth.
He always still has
What?
like he can always still get that weird win, just from like I guess old man strength. I like to put it.
Yeah, maybe, but I favor Nakajima being a little bit younger here. I think, and I mean, actually, no, I think. Oh, no, never mind. They're the same age. Sorry,
They are
the same age. Yeah,
I thought
They're both
Coro was like
36
in his
now.
40s. I
Wait,
mean, okay.
could you check that out? Could you?
Okay, Coro is 36.
Yeah,
And
Nakajima is 36 too, right? Right.
Wow, they are. Oh my God, I thought Nakajima was like at least like 2 or 3 years younger. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, they are the same age somehow.
But Koro's on he's on a 3-fight losing streak in deep.
Yes.
And I mean, his losses are to Moroya Yuki and Jinsu Son. So those aren't like terrible losses.
I don't know what.
Still.
I was at the show where he lost to the Korean guy, and yeah, I don't know if I would say that Korean guy won because he was a better fighter or just because Koro's Coro. I don't know how.
I mean, like the Korean guy Jinsu Son. He's a former UFC fighter, and the Korean guy, right, that Coro lost to. Well, his losses in the UFC were to Piotr Yan and Mario Bautista.
Oh, Mario Bautista, of course. The guy who apparently is a lot better than we thought he was. So I guess that's saying something when you lose to Mario Bautista. So
Yeah.
Okay, good on him.
Neither of those are losses that are terrible. Those are actually really good losses to have, I think.
Gotcha.
So.
I still think Nakajima wins. I don't know if he's going to finish him. I think this might be kind of like one of those three rounds points fights.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Rise Will Die has an interesting question. How do you think Sakakibara can gently tell fighters that want to fight on road to UFC that they suck but can make more money and find more success in Rizin? I don't know. How do you think they can do that?
I feel like there's a lot of fighters who really want to fight in the UFC. Like, their goal isn't to become UFC champion. They just want to make it to the UFC. For some reason. I don't know what it is. But there are a lot of fighters who really just want to make it into the UFC. And that's their career goal.
Can I just ask you about that? Because that seems to be a very recent, I would say, this feels like it's more of a recent, even like a little bit before when Kai went to UFC. I don't know what happened, but when I used to listen to the Rizin post-fight press conferences, I never would hear the Japanese fighters talk about UFC. And then suddenly, UFC just became a talking point. I don't know how. I don't know what was the impetus. Do you have a theory why that might have become a thing?
I have no clue, honestly. I think part of it has to do with Ren Hiramoto talking about it. Maybe that's part of it. Horiguchi talking about it as well and wanting to go back to the UFC. Like when the top fighters are saying, I want to eventually become world champion of the UFC.
Gotcha.
I think that ends up becoming a talking point.
Maybe Ring Nakai when she said that's the only place she'll ever fight ever again. Could that have been a?
I mean, Rin Nakai, who really pays attention to her nowadays? Like, she's only really known for blocking people on Twitter. That's about it.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll move on to this next fight. I'm looking forward to it with bated breath because I kind of have a feeling I don't know where it goes, but it could still. Okay, Salt versus Machi. Have you ever seen Salt fight in Pancras, Aniki?
I unfortunately have.
She is great at holding people against the cage. She is very good at it. He might be the best cage holder ever in the history of JMMA that I can think of.
Yeah.
So,
and luckily for her, this is a landmark card.
Yes. So, yeah. And I mean, she is the Hokkaido girl, so I guess she'll have a hometown crowd with her. Machi becoming kind of she's slowly starting to get popularity. I've become more of a fan of hers ever since apparently her mom was watching Bob Sapp Akebono, and I guess the energy from that fight transferred into the womb while Machi was incubating there, and that's how she became MMA fighter or felt the urge to become an MMA fighter. But yeah, any thoughts on Salt versus Machi?
I have a feeling that the ref is not going to break up the clinch as much up against the cage. Yeah. I just have a sneaking suspicion that the Rizin rule set is not going to be applied there as much.
No.
In this fight.
Well, do you think Machi can take her down? I mean, say what you will about Salt, she has beaten legitimate opponents, not in the most exciting way, but she still has beaten them. Do you think that Salt can defend Machi's grappling?
There's a chance, but one of the things I have to say is I don't know much about Machi's grappling, but does Machi have a good Kimura arm lock from the standing back position? So if Salt were to hold Machi up against the fence with
she does have a win by Americana. She does have a win by Americana and Deep Jewels.
Ooh, and then that's actually kind of interesting.
Remember Oshima got the I guess they call it the Ayaka lock now when she fought Salt at the first SAPPORO show.
You see, because when you're fighting somebody who likes to really force you up against the cage, then having that arm lock to be able to break out of the position and to control your opponent, that could be quite effective. So,
but here's the thing: if you're holding someone up against the cage and they want to grapple, that's probably like the last, unless you're Satoshi. That's that basically can negate her entire game plan, possibly.
Yeah.
I still think Machi will find a way to win. I think that Machi, if Machi's smart, she's gonna know. Okay, the cage is fire. Do not get to the cage when Salt is getting me to the cage. I don't know if she can get a finish on Salt, but I still think Machi will come out with a win. Any thoughts on a winner?
Yeah, I can see that. I think Machi might get the win. Yeah, especially since if you're just holding people up against the cage and just kneeing them in the thigh, then if your opponent actually has legitimate grappling skills, it's difficult to deal with that.
Yeah. Before we go into the next fight, we do have some questions. Chris Cushman says UFC is always the top goal because he has the best talent, but it depends on the fighter. If they want money, you can be a star. If they want money, you can be a star in an organization. You're right, but I feel like still Japanese fighters are talking more about UFC now than they were when Rizin first started. At least that's my impression. Do you feel the same way, Aniki?
Yes, they're definitely talking about the UFC much more, and part of that has to do with, when Rizin first started. That was right after the winter age of Japanese MMA, right? With Dream being gone and all the major organizations being gone, and Rizin was like a big revival. But now that JMMA is fully revived with Rizin, well, not fully revived. I mean, like, we're not reaching,
Still better than
Pride
it was.
Shockwave 2.
Still better than it was before.
Yeah. Like this is the second golden age of Japanese MMA.
Gotcha.
And now that we're fully in it, I think that there's more and more fighters who just want to test themselves at the top. And also, another thing I'll say is, Chris, a lot of fighters in Japan, they just really don't know how to market themselves. I'll say that. And
remember the YouTube thing was like, remember all the fighters would always say their YouTube channel like 5-6 years ago, right after the Kais? Yeah, that didn't go so well. I looked at some of the YouTube channels and some of them were awful.
Yeah. A lot of fighters don't know how to market themselves, and because of that, they just can't make as much money fighting in Rizin, because Rizin is about how many tickets you sell.
Yeah. AZ Ray says, any thoughts on Jordan Breen? Yes, definitely one of the forerunners, one of the guys who helped bring notoriety to JMA Valley Tudo. Are you familiar with Jordan Breen, Aniki?
Yeah, I was. I've heard his name a couple of times, but I wasn't really familiar with his work.
Well, if you're in Japan at the time, you probably weren't listening or reading his stuff. You had your stuff there, but Jordan Breen for us was like a gateway to what was going on. It would be him, Dave Meltzer. Oh my God, I'm forgetting some names right now, but yeah, probably the two top guys who helped. It's sad, that he died, especially young age. Forgot what age he is, but he was definitely not old. But rest in peace to Jordan Breen, and best to his family and friends. AZ Ray also asked, is there going to be a Rizin event in November? They haven't done a show in November, have they? I think they did. No, they usually take the break and then they have the.
I mean, if you have an event in November, you're going to be expending, at the very minimum, 2 fights that you could put on the New Year's Eve card, and that's just a much bigger deal.
Yeah, if you can somehow extend your vacation to December, try to do that. Also, December New Year's Eve in Japan is a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I don't think if there's a November show, it's going to be a Landmark show, and it may not even be in Tokyo. I'm assuming that's where you're going, AZ. It might be Kagawa, could be back in Sapporo, could be back in Hokkaido. So if you're not in those areas, you might miss out on a Rizin show. Will UFC Baku be better than Rizin Baku Landmark 7? I don't know. Koji's on that card anymore, so I'm no longer interested in it. Any thoughts on that? I don't give a shit. As soon as Kyoji was ticking off, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I don't see a highlight being. I don't see a highlight from UFC Baku being as cool or as inspiring as Chihiro knocking out Vugar Karamov.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 100%.
So I'm like, whatever. Jamal Hill versus Khalil Rountree Jr. That's the main event.
Oh, is that? I'm sorry. Yeah. Now I'm excited again. Thank you for reminding me that's the main event. Now I'm excited again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I was gonna say, you've got Jamal Hill and Khalil Rountree Jr. They're both African American gentlemen, right? Why aren't we having them fight in St. Louis or Chicago, a place that actually has fans from their demographic? Why aren't we having them fight there? And why are we having them fight in Baku?
AZ Ray also has another question. What thoughts on Tenshin Nasakawa's recent boxing win over the weekend? Well, his Tiger uppercut went viral, so good on him for that. That he can still get away with that shit. Listen, the big fight will soon. Hopefully it happens. Nasukawa versus Inoue. You think that fight will ever happen? Aniki? That is like
if Nasukawa.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Nasukawa versus Inoue. Well,
I think that's what they're building up to, and I think if they build, Nasukawa's undefeated, Inoue is undefeated. Undefeated as well. The clash between those could be the biggest boxing event in Japan. That could sell out Tokyo Dome if they put that on.
I would definitely go if that fight took place, but it's just Nakatani versus Inoue is just much more intriguing. It is just far more intriguing because, like, what does Tenshin bring to the table against Inoue? Inoue, I just see him treating Nasukawa like Mayweather treated Nasukawa.
Gotcha. I gotcha. AZ Ray also says, Rizin needs to fill the void, one left, and become the behemoth in the East. I feel like Rizin would get more viewers if it didn't have a paywall. Wish people could do without a paywall. Well, they gotta make money somehow. AZ Ray. So far they're doing good with their with the way that they're making money so far.
Yeah. Rizin consistently sells 400,000 pay-per-views in Japan. I think that become the behemoth in the East. I don't think one ever was that behemoth in the East. No. I don't think they ever were that big.
No. I can tell you, like, suppose, they're not. I don't know if Rizin can, I do like when Rizin they do offer some of their shows for free here. They've done that in the past for free here. I do like that. But you can only do that so much. And I'm trusting that they're charging money because they realize, okay, we have this many people watching our stuff, so let's start to charge for it. And it's still a Japanese company. I see that Cushman mentions Netflix. And maybe you can answer this, Aniki. So many Japanese companies are still Neanderthals. They want control over everything. They want to be, control over the IP and all that stuff. So I don't see Rizin ever going to like a Netflix or something like that at all. It would be so unlike a Japanese company to do something like that, I think.
Well, they haven't. I don't think they'll license the broadcasting rights to Netflix. But I buy my pay-per-view through Unext, and you also have Abema TV, which Rizin also broadcasts through.
And then Rizin Live as well, right? Their own thing.
Yeah. But I don't think it's coming to the West anytime soon because yeah.
No, Chris Visions said Unext, I'm looking at you because you cannot access Unext in America. When the first Landmark show, people tried people here tried every which way they could to try to watch the Landmark show live, but couldn't they tried Japanese addresses. They tried, credit card finagling, but yeah, you could not watch. You can't get Unext here. It's impossible, even with a VPN and all that.
Man, Unext is honestly what, Unext is what ESPN Plus should be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, tell me about it. Oh, man. I hear about what my friend gets on his Unext thing. I'm like, fuck. We are gamers.
Unext is goated. I mean, like, there's anime on there. There's dramas on there. The Ultimate Fighters on there. I mean, like
Bellator used to be on there.
Used to be. Who the hell watches Tough nowadays? And of course, all the UFC events are on there. Yeah, including the pay-per-views.
Oh, you guys have lucky. I know we did talk about Inoue and Nasakawa being like one of the biggest boxing matches that you could possibly make. But personally, to me, I think this could be the biggest MMA match of the year. No cap. Sina Karimian taking on Kaiju Killer. Please, Aniki, tell me all your thoughts on this incredible fight. This is one of my most anticipated fights of the year. I am Cena.
I want Cena to win. I want Cena to win. I don't know how his skills in kickboxing will translate or anything like that. But man, I want Cena to win.
Cena, I don't know what the general thoughts are on Cena from Japanese fans from who you talk to, but if you have, are they positive or negative on just what he does?
I think it was quite negative for a while, but now after the Koji fight, where he was like the punishment for Koji.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny, and I think a lot of fans thought that it was pretty funny as well.
So what do you think? Do you think we're gonna get any white belt shitty grappling? That's one of the things I love about when I see boxers or former kickboxers like we got with Taiga and Genji Umeno is when they try to grapple. That is one of my favorite things to watch is just shitty white belt grappling. It's so entertaining. Do you think we're gonna get any shitty white belt grappling from Cena in this fight?
Yes. One of the you see, I think that the shitty white belt grappling would favor Kaiju Killer here, because Cena's a kickboxer and all of that. But I think we'll get some.
Oh, I hope so. I hope to God. Do you think this fight will go all 3 rounds? I kind of want this fight to go all 3 rounds. I don't want it to be ended in the first round. I really don't.
I think it's going to be a pretty stinky decision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a pretty stinky
Cena
decision.
wins, though. I am a fan of Kaiju Killer, but I'm all on the Cena hype army train. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for this fight. This fight's going to be bonkers. It's going to be so insane.
All right.
I'm
predicting Cena.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, also, I'll just get my prediction. I think I'm taking Cena by decision.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here. AZ Ray says, would you consider the Rizin app? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Would I consider the Rizin app a success? I don't have it installed on my phone.
Okay. Are you talking about the Rizin TV? Are they talking, or is there a Rizin app that you guys have over there that we don't know about?
There is a Rizin app. Also, there's the official app of Rizin. There's the Rizin TV app.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Oh, here's an interesting question for Sarah. Do you like the Japanese commentary of Rizin? So, the only thing I've ever been told about Japanese commentary is that Gact was on once, and he wasn't that bad. Yeah. But I don't know that much about the Japanese commentary. Anything that you can say? The guy who does the main guy, I forgot his name. He follows me on Twitter, by the way. I'm forgetting his name right now. And but yeah, go ahead. How is Japanese commentary usually for Rizin?
I think it's pretty good, but sometimes you get like Ren Hiramoto talking some shit about the fighters. But it's generally all right.
Is Kosaka? Because I usually see him on and Kawajiri. Are they usually good?
Yeah, I like Kawajiri. Kosaka's also all right. Like, I don't think there's a single truly bad commentator, and that's because unlike the UFC, everybody tends to take it a little bit more seriously, and everybody tends to do their homework, right? But yeah, there's truly nobody who
would be the Daniel Cormier of Rizin commentary if there is one.
Maybe Kawajiri, I guess.
Do they ever do anything? Do they ever show any bias that the UFC fighters do? Like when the fighter comes from like a different organization, like a different people. Do they ever do that on the Rizin commentary?
Not really. Not really.
Like oh, this guy's from Pancras, so this guy must suck. Or this guy has an Owen. He's on a 7-fight losing streak. He must suck. Did they do anything like that, or did they put?
No. They tend not to do that much at all, and the reason why is because I think that in Japan, many people are much better at controlling what they say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. We have some questions from Rizin will die. He wants to know what is considered better in Japan, Unext or Bima, or is there another service considered to be the premier streaming platform?
I think it has to go to Unext. Personally, I prefer Unext much more over Abema. But Abema also has Shudo on there. But Unext has Deep on there, which I think is better.
Gotcha. Oh, and he wants to know. He also wants to know, do you think this fight they can market this fight better if it was an alternate bout for the heavyweight Grand Prix? I don't know if I would want this fight. Well, now I think so. If Ryan Bader does fight, imagine if the final just happened to be like Ryan Bader versus Sina Karimian. Just somehow that okay, yeah, I think this should be the alternate bout. Now I think about it, I don't know. Any thoughts on that? I think if this fight should be the alternate bout for the heavyweight Grand Prix, because it could possibly lead to Sina Karimian versus Ryan Bader. So there. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sina Karimian versus Ryan Bader. That would be fun, but
that'd be insane. That would be like one of those,
Bader would just crotch sniff for 3 rounds.
Yeah, I know. But do you think it should be the alternate? Should it be the alternate, de facto alternate match? Maybe.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. I think that's fine.
Gotcha. So continuing on, we got an interesting, I guess, I don't know, prospect match or young guys match. Joji Goto taking on Jinnosuke Kashimura. Just for the record, I am very good friends with Mr. Kashimura. I have trained with him. He has tapped me out many times. I helped him around New York when he was living here for a bit. So I am coming into this fight with a little bit of bias. So I'll defer to you, Aniki, about this fight. Your thoughts. If you have any.
I like Kashimura's chances. Yeah. I'm just gonna review their topologies a little bit here.
Well, here's what I can definitely tell you. Goto is definitely more of a well-rounded MMA fighter. But Kashimura, his submission game is one of the best in MMA. So
yeah,
and he got. I know you're gonna see his record on Road to UFC. He lost. He went up 2 weight classes to fight Juan B. Key. That was like a last minute, same week fight that he took. And the only time he's ever lost, he's finished all of his wins by submission, which is a very impressive feat. But again, even though he trains at Battle Box, I would definitely say Goto is more of a better striker overall and better overall MMA fighter. But Kashimura has such an insane grappling game.
Yeah, it's just that Goto, right? He's got an insane. Goto also has, he had that little tiny win streak where he got both wins by Twister and Rizin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember. It was Trent Girdham and the other guy, Ebichu.
Yeah. What I'll say is with Goto.
Yeah, you have any thoughts on this fight? Do you have any? Oh,
sorry. I think that this is going to end up being a case where Goto will be able to neutralize Kashimura's grappling, and will probably be able to land a lot of ground strikes from the ground. So a lot of ground strikes, a lot of ground and pound. And Kashimura, he's been TKO'd with ground strikes a few times, I think. So I think
Mm-hmm.
I think there's definitely a chance for Kashimura to be able to maybe to take the back and get his hooks in and get a choke. But I would say it's probably going to be Goto. I'm leading 60% Goto, 40% Kashimura. This is a legitimately intriguing fight.
Gotcha. Oh no, it is. And I wish, I would love to see Rizin do more of these fights. Not kind of relegate them to like deep, or I guess deep would the only other places where they would do a fight like this. But yeah, these are the fights that are like, okay, that get me really, that make me feel like, okay, where it's like this, like I don't want to say an even fight, but like a hard fight to figure out who might win.
Yeah, I mean most other fights, it's just like, yeah, I know who's gonna get kicked out.
Yeah, or how it should go. Falling Stars is an interesting question. He wants to know: do you see more Rizin products and merchandise in the market like we do UFC products and merch, like compared to say 5 years ago? So I guess do you see Rizin more in the in IRL stuff?
I see it. I see Rizin products IRL almost every day. Like like a few weeks ago, I saw like Rizin crane games in a game center. Yeah, and I was like, I should have played it. I should have spent some money there and tried to get my Ampo Rukia, my Rukia Ampo figurine.
Funny.
Something like that. But yeah, I really should have done that. And there's also Rizin trading cards, Rizin another thing that they have at the Crane Game Center is these two big pillow Rizin gloves that you can put on your hands. I like those as well. Yeah.
I'll say this, Falling Star. If you ever go to Japan, if you ever go to Rizin show, the best merchandise for Rizin, get the Rizin slippers. These are really comfortable, and I love them a lot. And I got red corner because that is what the corner I fought in as well. So if you ever come across those, please get them, even though they were absurdly expensive. We'll be moving on to the heavyweight Grand Prix. One fight that they're going to be having here for the Grand Prix. Alexander Soldakin taking on Prince Annala from France, who has a win over Kaiju Killer. Originally supposed to be Soldakin versus Ulu, but Ulu got injured, so they postponed it and got a new point for Soldakin. Any thoughts on this fight, Aniki?
Look, the heavyweight Grand Prix fights,
you can be honest.
So far have been pretty fucking terrible. I don't expect this to be much better.
Listen, I think that Soldakin is going to probably eke out a decision win. I think he's going to lay on Nala for the 3 rounds. I think that's how I see it. Nala is a Muay Thai guy; he can still get a knockout, but the problem is that Soldakin is one of those guys who's like so good at MMA that's almost like a detriment to his entertainment value, if that makes sense.
Yeah. He's so good at MMA that he's able to neutralize his opponent's game and just stink it up, really.
Sam or not, I didn't know you're gonna be tuning in. He wants to know if J Wolf could be the alternate heavyweight Grand Prix bout. Yes, and we definitely know he would do superior rule sets in that match. But yeah, I'm picking Soldakin by decision win, by unexcitement. I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of holding up against the cage, a lot of laying on top of Aonala, and I think there's a chance for a TKO for Soldakin. Like I can completely imagine Soldakin.
It is heavyweight. Heavyweight is always the exception.
Yeah, like Soldakin, I can see him just laying on top of Aonala for 5 minutes during round 2, and then after laying down some ground and pound, I think that Soldakin might just stand up, and then Aonawa would be simply too exhausted to get back to his chair. So actually, I might take Soldakin by round 2 TKO due to exhaustion and retirement.
Oh my god, that would be that would fit a heavyweight fight. That would absolutely fit this heavyweight Grand Prix, which so far has not been good, as you said. It's been shitty. It's been shitty, really.
We should have just told all the heavyweights. All right, you need to be on steroids. We need you to be on steroids for this fight.
Well, the problem is that the problem is then you have the guys who are just like big and fat, like and so you have the Polish guy Marek, who's just kind of like big because he's Polish. You have Sudario, who's terrible. You have Augusto, who's a heavyweight who's fat. Yeah, you have. Problem is that you have these guys who are just like, and then I think Soldakin's the only one who's actually ever been like drug tested and like failed a drug test out of all these guys. So, either give him steroids or just give him horse meat. I think should have been the method for this.
Maybe some Ozempic would help as well.
Oh, Ozempic, yeah. We're gonna talk about a fight that you want to talk about as well, Aniki. Victor Kolesnik finally returned, taking on the man, the artist known as Sasuke, Shuto lightweight champion, road to UFC vet, another road to UFC UFC refugee. Go ahead. The floor is all yours, my friend.
Yes. So I actually watched a bit of tape for both of these fights. I watched both of their last fights. I have to say, this is gonna be a complete mauling by Kolesnik. Kolesnik will kill Sasuke in the cage, and the reason is because Kolesnik, Kolesnik's big thing are his kicks, right? Like Kolesnik has a very, very good right body kick to the body. Specifically, it's like a Mikazuki Giri to the body that he throws. It's a bit like a teep, a bit like a roundhouse kick. It's a bit of a mix of both. And the thing is, Sasuke, he just runs in. His striking just consists of running in on a straight line and just throwing. And if Sasuke has decent grappling, but Kolesnik, his range management is just so much better than Sasuke's that I think that Kolesnik will knock Sasuke out in the first or second round with a body kick, specifically to the solar plexus with like something like that.
So then I'll ask, is there any way that Sasuke can win this?
Yeah.
And if there's not, you can just say so as well.
Sasuke, the one thing I would work on if I were Sasuke is just work on catching the teep. Work on catching the teep from Kolesnik while being aware that Kolesnik can always take the teep and turn it into a question mark kick, because Kolesnik can do that. Well, so focus on catching the teep and then securing the single leg off of that and trying to get to the back as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. Like the longer that Sasuke is on the feet with Kolesnik, the more danger he's in.
Question: why do you think? So I see that Sasuke is from Kanagawa, which I don't think is near Hokkaido.
Yeah, Kanagawa is it's like right near Tokyo.
Okay, why do you think that Sasuke? Do you think that? Because usually, there's kind of like a rhyme to like how Rizin books fights, especially like a foreigner versus Japanese. What do you think? I don't know. Was there anything that you know of? What do you think is the reason behind why Sasuke was choking? Because this definitely seems like a random guy to put against Victor Kolesnik.
I mean, Kolesnik, I think it's just been put on here in order to raise like the competitive level of the card. I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And also, I should have also figured because he's also a road to UFC guy, and
Yeah.
that and if you're a fighter and you're listening to this, the best way to get into Rizin is to get eliminated on Road to UFC or Dana White Contender Series or beat Mikuru.
Yes, absolutely.
Those are the best ways. If you want, and also please have a fucking passport. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've had to been like, oh, fighters want to. Oh, I always ask them, hey, do you have a passport? And it's no. It's like then you're not going to fight in Rizin. So too bad. But other than that, yeah, go on Road to UFC, Dana White Contender Series, get eliminated, and then that's basically a one-way ticket to Rizin. Or somehow run up or breaking down as well. So that's the best way. We have a question. Sorry, Falling Star. Curious. Do fans of Japan have desire to see the cage or ring and Rizin? Falling Star wants to know. Do you happen to have?
Yes.
Do fans? Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say that with the hardcore MMA fans in Japan, they want the cage more. The hardcore MMA fans want the cage more. The guys who watch Deep, Pancrase, the UFC, PFL, the guys who watch all of that, they prefer the cage. But I think the casual audience is completely fine with the ring.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be the opposite. That's interesting. Okay.
I think that it's like hardcore MMA fans in Japan and abroad, what being hardcore is completely flipped between Japan and the rest of the world.
Gotcha.
In the rest of the world, right, watching the UFC is what casuals do. In Japan, watching the UFC is what hardcores do.
Gotcha.
And what I think a lot of the hardcore MMA fans that I talk to on Twitter, what they see is that with the cage, you don't have people slipping out of the cage. You don't have referees pushing the fighters back into the ring. They don't have that. So that's part of the reason why they prefer the cage.
Gotcha. We have another question from Rizin Will Die. He wants to know, do you think Kolesnik resents Rizin for having him fight multiple times without getting closer to a title shot? More people cared about Shadulyev by a second fight while none very Kolesnik. I mean, if you look at the pedigree that both of them came in and who they fought, Shadulyev also just steamrolled everybody. He steamrolled Takeda, steamrolled Archuleta. And then Kubo as well. I don't know. Any thoughts on that, Aniki?
Yeah. I don't think Kolesnik resents Rizin, because if he resented Rizin, why would he be fighting with him? And I think Kolesnik's probably fine with, coming in, collecting a paycheck, and then, going back.
Yeah. Also, if you just look at Shadulyev, listen, we're seeing a Khabib like in real time right now. I don't want to say Kolesnik is a great fighter, but he's not on the same level that Shadulyev is at all, I think.
Yeah. Shadulyev would just take Kolesnik down and just maul him.
Yeah.
So
moving on, continuing on. So like you said before, Suzuki is apparently Hokkaido. So we got Hokkaido versus Hokkaido in this fight. Aniki. Sora Yamamoto taking on Hiroaki Suzuki. Two guys on a losing streak. One guy's a grappler. The other guy is a striker. One guy is in his 20s. The other guy is, I think, 40 right now. I think Suzuki's in his 40s right now, even though he doesn't look it. What do you think about this fight?
In these sorts of fights, I tend to prefer taking the younger guy. But then again, Suzuki is the grappler. And
Suzuki's a grappler?
Wait. I thought he was a grappler. I thought he didn't he train
he trains at Bonsai, but he's also he's shoot boxing. He's originally from shoot boxing, and I don't think he's ever won a fight by. He's their striking coach.
Yeah.
If he's grappling, he's not showing his fights.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I screwed it up in my head. Suzuki. Yeah, he's a former shootboxing guy. It's just I just don't really like some of his wins, right? Like Taisei Nishitani, that's not a good win. Keisuke Okuda, not a good win. Ashita Takahiro, that's a decent win. But he's been on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's 40 years old, as you said. So
they're both on losing streaks, to be fair, though.
Yeah, I'll still take Yamamoto. I'll still take Yamamoto.
Yeah, I defer to the grappler usually. It doesn't work out in my favor, but I mean, Suzuki, yeah, he's getting old. He got knocked out bad by Yaman in their fight. I know Yamamoto got TKO'd by Nazimov, but it wasn't like a knockout. And also he got out grappled by Yuma Yasui on the Bangaichi portion of the card. So I have to assume that this guy he spends all his time teaching striking at the bonsai, but doesn't attend the grappling classes. So I would have to defer to Sora for this fight. Following Star has a question: do fans want the rating system for Rizin or the current? You mean ranking system or the current model of matchmaking? Is all okay? Okay, so yeah, have you heard fans say if they want a ranking system or they like the way that Rizin just books it the way they do now?
I think that the hardcore fans want a ranking system, but actually no, some of the hardcore fans want a ranking system, but most people just don't give a shit. People are fine with what's happening right here. So
Gotcha. I just mentioned Nazimov, so we'll just talk about him next. Nazimov taking on Suguru Ni. I'll say it's plain and simple. I see no way for Suguru Ni to win. I think Nazimov is going to just fuck him up. Yeah. I don't know how else.
It's like which minute of the first round do you predict Nazimov knocks out Ni in?
Not even, but he could. I think he can even submit him if he wants to. And Ni, I think, probably is better. No, not like. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see how Ni has any sort of chance in this fight. It is a bad matchup for him.
Yeah. I'm just, but I say knock him out because it takes more time to latch up a submission than, to knock somebody out with a punch. So I was thinking,
I'll say this though. So apparently during his interview with, I don't know if you saw the interview he did with Hafid from Rizin TV. Apparently, Sora, I guess it must have been in the leg one of the Lego entanglements, like tore Nazimov's knee. That's why he didn't fight for so long. So unless his knee is still not 100%, which I'm guessing that it must be 100% if he's taking his fight. Yeah, unless knee just continues like kicking that whatever knee was that he got injured, I just don't see. Yeah, this will be a straight up murder. Straight up murder for. Go ahead.
Oh, but I mean, like the way that you said, Nazimov's knee got torn up by Sora. That's another reason to pick Sora.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too as well. Yeah. Also another reason to pick Nazimov. Hey, listen, if he's not going to go down from like knee entanglement with Terry's knee, then I don't know. Like this guy will still finish you if you're injured. Apparently.
Yeah.
So we're up to the co-main. An interesting match, I will say. Something I don't think I would have predicted, but, well, Yoshinori Horie, the man with the magic hands, as we like to say, taking Yamato Nishikawa. I think it's funny, though, that Horie, his nickname is Rising Star, even though he's, like, in his 30s. Nishikawa is, like, in his 20s and doesn't have, like, that name as well, that nickname as well. But, what do you think about this interesting fight?
What I'll say is that with Nishikawa, right? How old is he? He's like 20. He's like 23, but he's so many fights.
He's 22. He's up 30. I know. He apparently started fighting when he was 13. Like that was like his first professional fight. Was at 13 years old. That's Japan for you folks at that time.
Yeah, like how was that sanctioned? But Nishikawa, he's lost a few fights in the PFL versus Horie, who's a UFC nominee, right?
Yeah. Well, in fairness, he did make it to UFC proper, so let's at least give him that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. Like Nishikawa, he's fought Kawana, Tyson Osawa. My God, Nuki Norita, as we said, twice. Yeah, he had his first fight in 2016. He's born in 2002. That is either 13 or 14 years old. And it's I don't know how he did it, but how he did it. But I mean, so I think that I don't know. I think I'm trying. I know that that you can make an argument for Nishikawa to win, but I don't know. I think Horie can outstrike him and possibly knock him out by second or third round, or cut him up.
I'm actually favoring Horie here as well. Yeah, I'm favoring Horie here as well.
And I'm also going by the fact that the people who've defeated Nishikawa in the past, Shane Burgos, Clay Collard, all of his other losses are all by high level strikers, not grapplers. Now, I do think Nishikawa can maybe grapple his way to a decision if he wants. If he tries, that's how. I was at the fight where he beat Osami, and I think that's how the judges judged that fight. But Usami outstruck him like 10-5. So yeah, and that's how I see Horie outstriking Nishikawa in this entire fight.
Yeah, and Usami's not really like a volume striker either, really.
Yeah,
like we saw that with the at the career card. Like he was going really tit for tat. He was jabbing here, kicking here. Mm-hmm. So I think I have to take Horie.
Yeah, Horie, no, same here. Yeah, Horie by the use of his very strong hands. Rizin Will Die wants to know, in yen, USD, or euros, how much do you think foreign fighters like Nazimov and Kozlik are being paid?
I think they're probably being paid a minimum of 1 million yen, so probably like $6,000 minimum. But that's before sponsors, and I think that Kolesnik's probably making more, so probably he's probably making like 5 million yen or like $30,000 to show, I think, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. They also get a finish bonus as well. We definitely do know that. I'll say this: I do know one Rizin foreign fighter who was paid $4,000, but he also lives in Japan. That's all I'll say. But yeah, we're gonna go to the main event, the big kibosh, the big one. Vugar Karamov taking on the young prospect Shuya Kimura. I originally wrote it as Shuya Nomura because I get Shunta Nomura and Shuya Kimura still mixed up. Anyway, you thoughts on this fight, Aniki?
Yes. So we were discussing this fight over Discord. A few hours ago, 8 or so hours ago, and I just see no path to victory for Kimura. Besides landing one punch and knocking Karamov out in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But Kimura, you just look at his record. Kimura he's basically Tom Aspinall. He's it's just a series of round one KOs, just KO, 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 and of course Karamov Karamov has a pretty decent fight IQ. So if I'm Karamov and I'm Karamov's team, my game plan is going to be, I'm going to wrestle for the first round, take this guy to a place where he's never been, which is the second round, and just strangle him. So I think Karamov gets this done easily, first or second round submission.
So I also think that, again, Rizin books have a purpose, and I have a feeling they they are booking this fight because they're confident that Kimura can get a win. And do you think there's any sort of any credence to that?
Kimura can always get a win because he has that one punch KO power. He can just sleep Karamov, and we've seen Karamov get slept before.
Well, here's the other thing as well. I just want to bring this up. So, and I noticed, I did some research, and I noticed this. Everybody who has fought Gustavo and lost has not been the same fighter after. Johnny Case, Spike Carlisle, oh my God, Yachi.
Yeah.
All these fighters who have lost.
You mean Satoshi, right? You mean Satoshi, not Gustavo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, he was the name. Yeah, Gustavo, another one. Satoshi, being Gustavo, lost to Kimura. Nomura after. So there is definitely, I don't know. Is there something where like when Satoshi beats you, he just destroys your aura. He's like Shang Tsung. He just sucks your soul out. And I don't know. I looked at all those fighters and I'm like, oh, they did not do well after he beat them. So I'm wondering, is Karamov gonna be the same way?
Well, you see, like those guys were all lightweights. Karamov is a featherweight. So
yeah,
like I think that if I'm a fighter, right, and I'm just like, you know, I want to like mentally cope with being destroyed in that way, I would be like, I think that it's easier to justify that in your head if you're like Karamov, because if I was Karamov, I would be like, well, I'm a featherweight, he's a lightweight, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. That's what I would think, and I think that would probably help him to sort of mentally recover from being destroyed like that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So, well, here's the thing. I'm thinking Kimura. I'm thinking that Rizin is booking this fight because they are confident that Kimura can beat Karamov. I think they wanna find another Japanese featherweight that they can lean on for the future. And I think with the way Kimura had that first win against Yokoyama and his Rizin debut this year, I think they're looking at Kimura as being possibly one of those guys.
Yeah.
I also, and I don't know. Again, I also look at Vugar has lost the only two big losses would be to Chihiro and Souza. Saito fight was something different. You could have said that he won that if he didn't get the red card. I don't know. There's just something that's telling me that there's going to be that this is going to happen. That he's going to get that. He's going to use that karate shit that he does. That's very Kyoji Horiguchi like. He's going to use that. Like, is he Kempo? I think he's Kempo, right?
Yeah, he's Japanese Kempo.
Yeah, I think he's going to use that Kempo shit, and I'm assuming that he's from Brave. He's going to be well prepared for takedown defense because he's working with Miyata and all those guys there. I think that he's going to come in prepared for all the grappling stuff. And he'll have to contend with Karamov's aggressiveness, though. That's something that's, maybe if he gets him past the first round, maybe he could tire Karamov off potentially. Or maybe, who knows, even Kimura would get tired because he hasn't seen past the first round. That could happen. Could happen.
It just, with these guys who have this sort of explosive knockout power, right? Especially in the first round, they tend to gas.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think people really don't talk about when it comes to knockout punchers is you can really, really drain the power of a knockout puncher by just engaging in the grappling with them.
Yeah.
Like if you like, Karamov doesn't even need to take Kimura down, right? Karamov can just get a body lock and just make Kimura fight the hands.
Yeah.
And that alone, I can see burning out Kimura's arms and making him lose that oomph that he needs to get a KO.
Gotcha. We got two quick questions from people. Then we're gonna pick our fights and we'll be out of here. Bonzo wants to know who's the most popular foreign fighter in Rizin. that you've seen?
Yuri.
Interesting. Are you saying Gabby Garcia is not the answer? Very disappointed. Rise Will Die says, do you think Sakakibara is actually too much of Kimura and Karamov by having them cut weight twice within about a month and hoping they can fight for the title without injury? Well, Karamov last fought in December, and Kimura fought, was it February?
He's talking about so Sakakibara has announced that Shade Alive will be defending his belt, right?
Yes.
At Super Rizin 4.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of see that. Yeah. Oh, John Nash is an MMA fan in Japan. So glad you guys know very well about Japanese MMA. You got a great. We try to do the best here. You know, John Nash, very Japanese name, by the way. So yeah, appreciate you tuning in and watching us. Before we head out, Aniki, 3 fights that you're looking forward to the most.
So Kolesnik versus Sasuke, because
just want to see someone die. That's why
I don't want to see Sasuke die. Okay, it's like I watched the tape on those fights and I'm just thinking, there's a way that I see this fight turning out, and I want to see if I'm right or not.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because Kolesnik, he has that fantastic right body kick.
Yes,
and I just see him just slamming that into Sasuke's gut over and over again, and I can just see the TKO happening. So I want to see if I'm right or not. Then the other fight that I do want to see is, and I want to see Toshizo fight. I want to see the Toshizo fight because I think that's skill wise, that's a competitive fight. It's, it's low level, but it's competitive. And I think it's the kind of fight that will be likely to end in a KO TKO. And then finally, I'm looking forward to the main event because, if Kimura gets the win, then that is a new, fresh contender for Shade Alive. And if Kimura is able to knock out Karamov, then that becomes somewhat interesting for Shade Alive since, I have seen Shade Alive get wobbled before on the regional scene back at, I think it was at, ACB or ACA. So, there's a bit of a possibility that starts emerging for Kimura. But still, I think Karamov destroys Kimura, sadly.
My 3... So I won't lie. I like when I see old men fight, and this is 170. So we got two old men fighting. Actually Yuki Narita and Takashi Noto, I think could be a fun fight, quite honestly. Looking forward to Joji Goto and Jinnosuke Kashimura because I think that's just gonna be a really exciting fight between two young guys. I won't say who I'm cheering for because I think I just made it obvious before. And of course, the people's main event, Sina Karimian taking on Kaiju Killer. That fight will be amazing, and I don't care. I will enjoy every second. I'll enjoy every second I would enjoy weigh-ins to the end of the fight. It's gonna be great. I definitely know that.
Yes.
Aniki, where can people find you? Where can people reach you?
Yeah, so you can just find my YouTube channel, Aniki MMA on YouTube. That's you can also find me on Twitter, X, same username at Aniki MMA. And please feel free to check out my channel if you have time. And it was a pleasure being on.
And I just want to give a shout out to other co-conspirators of the Rizin world, include Jay Kirschgary, who does the Focus Fights. They just did their thing yesterday, which you can check on the Focus Fight channel, Linktree Focus Fights for all their good stuff. My buddy Jay Wolf, even though he is wrong that 19 fights is great, still, he's a great guy to, have in the JMMA sphere and all that. Also want to thank Combat Sports Today They do so much coverage of non-UFC stuff. Knox Talks, who made his debut on the show this week. Cap'n, King CeeLo, Kome Day. And also, of course, I just got to give a shout out to the sponsor of the podcast, Each Room Bar. Use code WAR at checkout for 25% off your first order. Yes, if you use that code, you show your support the podcast and all that stuff. And also, as well, I hate to say this, like this video, subscribe if you're not. You got algorithm bullshit and all that. And follow the Twitter at We Are Rising Pod, please. But again, thank you so much, everybody who tuned in. We'll definitely be doing a recap show sometime. Don't forget to get the show on Rizin.tv if you are in the United States. We'll be definitely talking about the fights sometime in the future. Take care, everybody, and have a good night or good morning if you're in Japan.